Thank you. Pay attention to the through line, people.
Yep.
Different rules.
Yep.
For the rich and powerful,
Yep.
right? Did I hear that Will Smith invaded Crimea this morning?
He did. No,
See what I did there?
I saw
he released a statement on,
Yes.
on Instagram.
Thank you. He finally apologized
Not
to
really.
Chris Rock. But he didn't. Like, at the Oscars, I was like, oh, he's apologized to everybody but Chris Rock.
He didn't. And Questlove deserves an apology,
He
too.
does. Questlove, because Chris Rock was there to present
The documentary.
documentary award, and Questlove
Yeah.
won
Yeah.
and was completely overshadowed and rattled while
Very
giving
rattled.
his speech.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
when somebody says, "I would like to," and then they
I would
continue
like
a
to
phrase,
apologize.
yeah.
everything after that to me is diminished. He
Yeah.
should have said, instead of "I would
I
like
don't-
to publicly apologize," he should have said, "Chris, I am sorry.
Right.
I slapped
Maybe
you,"
because
and then go on.
I'm a big homo. I don't understand. Like Tiffany Haddish defending Will Smith and saying, because to some women it's romantic, I guess. Like,
Yes.
and I get it because it was a crappy joke and she has a medical condition. And he's like, but, but you said, have you ever, look, I asked you to print your tweet for me.
I saw that.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Yes.
I wanted to quote you to you. But
Yes.
you said a friend of mine posted that if someone commits an act of violence in the name of love, run the other way.
Yeah.
That
Right.
to me is the appropriate thought process for what happened last night.
If
at
he
the Oscars.
if he wanted to defend Jada effectively, he could have just shouted what he shouted to Chris
Yes,
Rock.
yeah.
Keep my
Or
wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah, or he later, privately.
When he
whatever.
won the
Not-
award.
and I don't mean hit him later.
Right.
later.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like man to man.
He could,
have
during
a-
his acceptance speech, he had a perfect opportunity to have brought up,
Right.
"Look, that was hurtful to my wife and to me. I wish you hadn't said it."
Yeah.
It would have been the
No, and
then
I-
he wouldn't be the bad guy.
And as someone that's been the victim of domestic violence, like AG.
Being hit out
our-
of love.
Yes. Our friend AG,
She
was
did,
very
yeah.
brave on Twitter. Did you see that? She
Yeah.
said, I was in love with a man once that used to physically confront people that offended me, and eventually he hit me.
Yeah.
And it's just violence is not okay. Is not okay. Is not okay. No. There's just no other,
Defending your wife is okay.
Yes.
Not in that fashion.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, our friend Rob Reiner, of course, said Will Smith owes Chris Rock a huge apology. There was no excuse for what he did. He's lucky Chris is not filing assault charges. And Kathy Griffin, let me tell you something. It's very bad practice to walk up on stage and physically assault a comedian. Now we all have to worry who wants to be the next Will Smith in comedy clubs and theaters. Yeah. And I was, George Takei said, many people, especially kids, look up to actors. Because of that, we have an obligation to try to be good role models. With celebrity comes responsibility. And then NAACP, I thought interesting, said, I know we're all still processing. I watched it live with my sister.
did I. I was like,
what the? Oh my God. Because at first you thought it's a
You
skit.
thought
it
it
was
was
a
a
bit.
bit.
Right, they
Yeah,
always do
the
bits.
entire room thought it was a
Right.
bit. That's why there was all that nervous laughter.
especially
not-
because he went back and sat
Right,
down. It was like,
exactly.
oh, that was a bit.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, exactly. So then you went to the Japanese TV thing.
Right.
You're like, oh my God, the unedited.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, the NAACP said, I know we're still processing, but the way casual violence was normalized tonight by a collective national audience will have consequences that we can't even fathom at the moment. And that's what I thought. Is this how Donald Trump and everything else gets normalized? That we all just go, oh, well, he's rich and powerful, so okay, I guess he sits back down, wins an Oscar. We're all like, oh, he's crying. Okay, well, I guess
There wasn't much applause when,
Well, there was.
Yeah.
They got a standing ovation.
after he
Got the
apologized.
award.
Okay.
Yeah.
But didn't it remind you of Merrick Garland? The Academy condemns the actions of Mr. Smith. We officially started a formal review. Well, it's on tape.
Yeah.
We have almost everything
Review
Donald
that.
Trump has done on tape.
Yeah.
Let's start with Georgia, right?
Well-
It's like,
In fact, I can furnish some tape if they want
yes,
some.
There we
thank
go.
you.
I have it.
You were a helper,
Yes.
liberal helper.
Well,
Yes.
Mindy Rickles' husband, Ed, posted something on Facebook because Mindy, Don Rickles' daughter.
Yes.
Um,
Your friend.
yeah.
She only went to school with comedy legends
Right.
kids. And
And somebody with the last
the
name of
only
Halliburton.
schoolyard fights were whose parents are funnier.
Right.
No, but Ed posted something because Mindy does stand up now, and
Yeah.
now he's afraid for her because
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
I haven't seen her act, but she might be doing some of her dad's bits, and can be
I'm
dangerous
telling
for
you,
her.
a lot of drinking, a lot of
Yeah.
let me pick a fight with the comedians so I can, I mean, it's just, Will Smith said then yesterday, violence in all its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Well, he heard all the blowback, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? He apologized, obviously, but he stopped short of apologizing to Rock. He said, jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear. I reacted emotionally. I'd like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line. I was wrong. I was embarrassed by my actions. They were not indicative of the man I want to be. No place for violence, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you're right. It's so shocking, but that's what I mean. We've gotten numbed to, like, in the case of Trump, just one crime after another. And this was assault. This was assault on national television. There's just no other way to spin that. Angry staffer, though, said the important thing about Will Smith is that the wife of a Supreme Court justice was pushing back conspiracy theories and actively working with the White House in an attempt to overthrow the election. That seems important.
Yes.
Yeah. That seems, I don't, not as important as, racist babies and the Supreme Court justice that has more experience than, I don't know, is it all of the other Supreme Court justices combined that just were seated on the Supreme? Yeah. Okay. Priorities, people. Priorities. Okay. So let me give President Biden one more on Russia and Ukraine.
Nobody believes we're going to take down. I was talking about taking down Putin. Nobody believes that. Number one. Number two, what have I been talking about since this all began? The only war that's worse than one intended is one that's unintended. The last thing I want to do is engage in a land war or a nuclear war with Russia. That's not part of it.
One more.
I was expressing my outrage at the behavior of this man. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. And it's more an aspiration than anything. He shouldn't be in power. People like this shouldn't be ruling countries, but they do. The fact they do, but doesn't mean I can't express my outrage about it.
Thank you.
I saved myself the torture of watching Chuck Todd with all I was going through with my mother.
Yay.
But the week before, it just is. Was it? I mean, it might be true, but was it rude? It was Was it rude of him to call Hitler? Really? That was kind of the coverage, right? Was it Biden? Was it a Biden gaffe? I'm like,
Lindsey
he is
Graham,
a butcher. He shouldn't be in power. Like what?
Lindsey Graham did worse. He actually called for regime change. He did.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't. Okay. Republicans against Trumpism tweets FDR. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. JFK. We shall pay any price to assure the survival and success of liberty. Ronald Reagan. Mr. Gorbachev. Tear down this wall. President Biden. For God's sakes, this man cannot remain in power. Putin. Trump. Putin's a genius. Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Just by way of compare and contrast. Okay. Oh, yes. Also, President asked about the Ginny Thomas. Clarence Thomas.
Should Justice Thomas recuse himself from any cases involving the January 6th insurrection or former President Trump at this point?
I leave that to two entities. One, the January 6th committee, and two, the Justice Department.
Merrick Garland, are you there? Hello? Merrick Garland? Oh, my God. Ellie Mistal yesterday made me spit up. He was like, Joy, shh, don't wake Merrick Garland.